Riot Points, the primary currency of the Riot universe. Riot Games is a billion-dollar company, and most of its revenue still comes from selling in-game currency. With any company this big, there will be people who try to steal and exploit the system to try and get free Riot Points. Today, we explore the most popular ways that people have been getting RP for free, how people have been stealing other people's RP, and of course, how people have been stealing other people's accounts. This is League of Documentary.
This was the skin I was trying to unbox for $3,000. This is the skin I spent $3,000 trying to get on my Me Big Brain account. $3K.
There's no way.
Nope.
So, as you can see, on my EU account, I have spent £991.72, and on my NA account, I've spent $424.86.
Okay, actually, you know what? I'm actually pretty smart with my money. I am actually smart with my money. We have only spent $1,500.
Oh no, I didn't change my skins.
Wait, how much money did you spend on this game? On this free game?
I don't want to talk about it.
Now, if you're someone who's spent a lot of money on RP and you're looking for a way to get some of that money back maybe, I have some bad news for you, you won't. If you thought cars depreciate quickly in value, they got nothing on RP. A car generally depreciates up to 20% of its total value once it's driven off the lot. For RP, as soon as that RP hits your account and as soon as you purchased it, it depreciates up to 50% as soon as you get it. And once you spend that RP on skins, depending on which skin you buy, that RP can depreciate up to another 100% of its total value. There are hundreds of different markets offering RP at various prices. Most of these markets will offer your RP at around a 50% discount. Generally speaking, an account with thousands of dollars of skins on it can only really be sold for a few $100s. This is because there's a limit to how much buyers actually want to pay and how much they want to risk buying somebody else's account. There are two main types of RP sellers. One, hackers that are trying to exploit the system in order to generate free RP for them to resell. And two, people who are trying to steal other people's genuinely purchased RP in order to resell on the black market. In terms of safety from a customer perspective, usually speaking, genuinely bought RP is much safer than cracked RP. When the money is already in Riot's pocket, they're generally less likely to actually do something about it and less likely to ban you. Once they've made their money, they already have their incentive to not care anymore. So how do you steal somebody else's Riot Points? How do you get your hands on their account? If you go to the black market today, you will find millions upon millions of account logins throughout every single website. Many of these account logins are from various websites that have poor security, data leaks, or hacked in some way by professionals looking for a quick score. Many people use the same email and passwords for multiple different sites. So among the millions upon millions of accounts, there will be at least a few hundred where you can use those to log into a Riot account. But wait, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can actually take this RP just like that. Just because somebody's login is yours doesn't mean that you can just immediately take everything that's on it and resell it for your own gains. If that person simply goes to the support and says, hey, my account got hacked and all my RP got stolen, they can just go to Riot support and then all of that RP will be returned to them and anyone who purchased RP will be banned. So what do? You use Riot's support system against them. Instead of just taking all the RP and then reselling it, take all the RP, resell it, and then get the account permanently banned. So what's the best way to do that? Well, everybody knows that intentionally feeding is not necessarily the best way to get banned, because often it can take many games before Riot ever actually does something. The easiest way to do it is by scripting. Riot has automatic systems in place to be able to detect scriptures, and any scripting offense is automatically a permanent ban. These hackers have better things to do with their life than going into a game, running it down, and typing the N-word. They're running a business here, and they need to be efficient. Scripting is by far the easiest way to just get an account immediately banned. And you know what the sick beauty of this process is? Riot support actually turns against the victim in this case. If you see that your account has been permanently banned, you're gonna go to Riot support, and Riot support will say, hey, we banned you because you were scripting, which, well, their account was scripting, and we don't do anything about that. We don't revert these bans. You're permanently banned. Sorry, good day. That's it. But then if you're the victim and you've obviously never scripted, you go, but I didn't script. I didn't, why would I script? And here's the thing. Every scripter who actually does script says that same shit. It's like going to prison. Every prisoner says, I'm not guilty. Everybody else here is guilty.
Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you asked.
You can fit right in. Everybody in here is innocent. Did you know that? Hey, what you in here for?
Didn't do it. Lawyer fucked me.
Riot checks these accounts, checks if they were scripting, confirms that they were indeed scripting, and then doesn't do anything further than that. As much as these thieves are scumbags for stealing other people's stuff, you gotta admit that there is an incredible level of creativity here going into fooling Riot's systems. This method was abused for years before Riot finally caught on to the fact that there are just simply too many of these people for it to be a coincidence and started looking into the actual cases. Once they realized that the IP addresses of the scripted accounts and the actual IP addresses of the original accounts were different, they started to revert these bans and give people their RP back. This was probably the most legitimate way and one of the most scumbag ways of stealing RP, and it was abused for years. But that doesn't mean that's the only way of getting legit RP. The most common way that people used to resell legit RP was through transfers. Countries vary in wealth, and not all have RP priced equally. In 2020, Brazil had a poverty rate of 20%. Most people couldn't afford food, let alone $10 on a kitty cat Canarita skin. Depending on the currency difference, you could get RP much cheaper in countries like Brazil or Turkey. Just transfer your account to that server, buy the RP, and transfer back. Riot removed this option by disabling transfers from servers like Brazil and Turkey. Now, the transfers method was often abused, but it wasn't actually that effective, because it's not pure profit. You would still need to actually spend the money in those countries and then resell that RP later. All you're really doing is buying Riot's product and then reselling it to people in a richer nation, sort of like an e-smuggler. Back when League of Legends was an up-and-coming game and needed new people to continue driving their player base, League had a system that is commonly used by just about every single company for growth: the referral system. Refer a Friend originally allowed people to get 20k RP, Medieval Twitch, and Grey Warwick with just 100 referrals. Hundreds of thousands of players purchased false accounts to get this huge boost of RP, including a certain YouTuber who makes League of Legends documentaries. In the post where they originally retired Refer a Friend and announced that they would be ending the program, Riot stated that around 99% of all accounts who were introduced through Refer a Friend were actually just bots. Well, today, there's a new system that's just about as abusable as Refer a Friend, and it's thanks to a little company you might have heard of called Amazon. Amazon is the biggest company in individual shipping. Often, big companies want to work with each other in order to drive each other's growth. Amazon wanted to break into the gaming space, so they purchased Twitch and they offered Prime gaming loot to a variety of games such as Hearthstone, Pokemon Go, and of course, League and Valorant. In the League of Legends bundle, you would get an EXP boost, skin shards, a loot box, and of course, Riot Points. 650 to be exact. All you had to do was sign up for Amazon Prime, and every single month you get this capsule. The words free and RP are all that are required for people to start abusing this. The Amazon method is the same thing as the referral method, with just newer and better bots. See, all you really need to be able to sign up for a Prime membership is a credit card. But on the dark market, you can actually buy lists of hundreds of credit cards. So all you really need to do is make a bunch of level 30 accounts, then get a list of credit cards, and then get a bot that constantly signs you up for these Prime memberships. While it would be very slow if you were doing these things one at a time, thanks to automation and coding, you can do hundreds or thousands of accounts at a time. And after just a few short months, the RP will have been stocked up on these accounts, and you can just take them to the black market and resell them safely. Potentially, this could be a huge problem for Riot and Amazon's partnerships. A lot of business deals like this are based on signups. How many signups is Amazon actually getting from their deal with Riot? Some companies base the value of their deal off of how many subscriptions and how many signups they get. The Refer a Friend system had a fraudulent rate of 99%. If the Amazon Prime method is anywhere near that, did Riot just get a bunch of free money from Amazon? Who knows? Riot's partnership with Amazon did seem to be fairly successful since they both decided to renew it. But they did end up nerfing the RP from 650 down to 300 and added Mythic Essence instead. Despite the fact that the RP has been cut in almost half, that doesn't really make a difference to these botters. It's been proven again and again that if it's free, people are going to abuse the shit out of it. Stealing other people's RP, while it's often safer for your customers, it's obviously not as easy or profitable as just generating RP. If you could find a loophole to get infinite amounts of RP, then wouldn't you want to just do that? Well, at one point, this actually did exist. Introducing the German IBAN method. IBAN stands for International Banking Number. It's sort of like a SWIFT number for when you want to do international transfers. There was an exploit in which you could use a fake IBAN number to purchase as much RP as you wanted. When you put your information into League in order to purchase a skin, usually it's through one of the approved methods from Riot Games. But when your game accepts payments from dozens of different currencies and even more countries, it's pretty hard to be able to have a good grasp on how money flows through all of these different banking systems. One system that Riot clearly did not have a good grasp on was Germany's IBAN system. Here's what happened. Usually when you purchase RP, Riot asks you for a bank number or some sort of payment system. Riot's system recognizes this as a real number, accepts the payment, and then you get your RP. But for some reason, Riot's system would accept any random IBAN number, whether this account actually had funds or not. So you could just use an IBAN number generator, put it in, and then free RP. These IBAN numbers weren't actually real numbers, they didn't have any funds attached to it, but for some reason Riot's system was still registering them as legit numbers. And so they just thought, oh yeah, these fake banks actually have money in them, when in reality they didn't. To give you an idea of just how much this was overly abused, if you type League of Legends German IBAN, the next word that automatically comes up is generator. When your ship is as big as Riot, there's going to be at least a few leaky holes. Exploiters are constantly looking for these and guard those secrets very carefully, because whenever you find one, it's basically free money. So how does Riot actually detect if someone has bought RP from the black market? How do they know these exploits even exist? Well, oftentimes it's not the hackers themselves that give away their methods, but rather the customers that they service. Riot has a really neat system that I like to call whale watchers. Basically, Riot looks at how many loot boxes and orbs that you've opened throughout your entire lifetime, and it constantly keeps track of it. Once you've opened past 200 orbs or loot boxes, they make sure that you're actually a real person. You know how if you type the N-word into chat, you automatically get banned? Well, 200 orbs is basically the N-word equivalent for these gamblers. As much as gaming companies want to deny or tell us otherwise, loot boxes are gambling, alright? It's basically a slot machine in a modern form. See, what's funny is that these hackers are actually aware of this magic number, number 200, and they do warn their customers, guys, we sold you this RP, please, whatever you do, don't open 200 orbs. You can open 100, you can open 50, you can open 199. Just please, please, please don't go to 200. And you know what their customers do? They don't open 200. They don't open 100. Oftentimes, they open up to 500 fucking orbs, because gambling is very addictive. Just like in real life, when they're warned that if they gamble too much and if they let their addiction take over, not only is it going to end their real life, it'll end their League life as well. So we've talked about people getting RP from legitimate and non-legitimate ways, both of which have their flaws. Hacked RP is risky, but legit RP is harder to get your hands on. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just get accounts that had hundreds of thousands or millions of RP to be able to resell? RP is just a digital currency. If you have access, and if you have the right buttons to press, you could just make infinite RP. While infinite RP doesn't necessarily exist on one single account, Riot accounts certainly exist. Pretty much everyone working at Riot Games gets a Riot account. And of course, traditionally that came with a lot of free RP. That policy has been slowly changing due to the fact that Riot wants their employees to have more of a genuine experience within the game. However, there are still hundreds of these accounts out there with millions of Riot points on them. Riot has thousands of employees, but that doesn't mean every single one of them actually plays League or Valorant. Many are gamers, but when your main job is Riot Games, you don't necessarily want to come home and play more Riot games to relax. So a lot of this free RP is unused. So how do resellers actually get their hands on these accounts? According to my sources, the most common way that resellers are able to get their hands on these accounts is either by directly hacking them or by purchasing them from rioters themselves. Some claim that there are Riot employees who are selling their colleagues' accounts. These reports are obviously not 100% confirmed, as nobody would be stupid enough to try and leave any sort of trail for something like this. But we have talked about hacking and scripting before on this channel in the past, and we know that rioters do come into these communities to try and work with the hackers and scripters and occasionally give them some perks. According to the sellers out there, this is also the case for resold RP, except it's just the digital equivalent of rioters stealing pens from the office and reselling them later for a profit. If it's true that rioters have been the ones that are supplying this RP to people on the black market, then this could be the biggest and most potentially safest way to get cracked RP. Of course, whether or not these sellers are actual rioters or just hackers pretending to be them, no one knows for sure except the rioters themselves. If you watched this video up to this point, thank you very much. I want to make one thing really clear to my viewers, is that you shouldn't go out and buy this RP. I'm not saying this because I'm scared of Riot or they have some sort of contract telling me not to promote this. I'm pretty sure Riot hates my guts already anyway, so that's not going to change. I'm telling you this because it is a genuine risk to purchase any of this RP. Riot doesn't care about a lot of things within their ecosphere, whether it's win trading, toxicity, running it down, but this is something they really care about. If anything, this is the only thing they really care about, which is making sure that their bottom line stays high. Scripting ruins the game, toxicity ruins people's mental. This ruins their bottom line. And that, more than anything else, they can't have. While a method might go hidden for years and perhaps never be discovered, all it really takes is one leaky idiot and your entire account is banned. My name's Stompwop, thanks for watching.